The Fallen of the Virtuous is one of the best staples in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why I think it's so good. I'm going to show you how I made room for it in my current deck. I'm going to show you a real hand I had in testing where it completely saved me. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. So to start off, let's read the card, something most Yu-Gi-Oh players don't do. This card is always treated as a branded and Dogmatica card. Activate one of these effects. Send one monster that mentions Fallen of Valbaz from your extra deck to the graveyard, then target one face-up card on the field, destroy it. If you have an Ecclesia monster in your field or graveyard, target one monster in either graveyard, special summon it to your field. You can only activate one, the Fallen of the Virtuous, per turn. Okay, so now that we've read the card, there are 3 key strengths to take away from this that makes this card one of the best staples in any deck. Those 3 strengths are, it's a pop, the cost creates an advantage, and there's defensive utility with it. For the first point, obviously it is a targeted pop. So with that being said, this card just applies a lot of pressure offensively and defensively to your opponent that they have to interact in some kind of way or they're just gonna lose a card. Now the second strength of this card is the fact that sending a monster is cost. The monsters that you send either give you follow-up or another interaction in the grave. So the fact that one of these cards is either a double pop or a pop and a bounce makes this card so much better and just gives you more utility and more ways to interrupt your opponent. Now, if you send Albion in the end phase will set another Fallen of the Virtuous. And then that means on their turn, you can activate the Fallen of the Virtuous and send Ecclesia. And then on your turn, use Ecclesia to send back Albion to your extra deck. And then one of their cards, it'll shuffle that back into their deck. Overall, a recurring pop and or a pop and a bounce is just really good. And having multiple interactions just off of one card makes this card so good. Now the final strength of this card is the defensive utility of it. This card allows you to dodge targeted effects such as Veiler, Imperm, Mandate. So for example, if you normal summon a monster that searches on summon and then your opponent tries to Imperm you, you can chain Fallen of the Virtuous, pop your card, their Imperm loses the target, and then you, when your monster resolves, still get the search. And then back to that second strength, because you sent Albion with it, you're going to, in the end phase, set another Fallen of Virtuous. It just gives you another pop that you can use offensively because you just used a pop defensively. So being able to do that is crazy. Now, obviously, there is one downside to this card, and it is you need to find space in your extra deck to be able to play it. The minimum package that you can play is 1 Albion and 1 Ecclesia. So you need at least 2 extra deck spots. I would prefer 3. But I know it's tight in a lot of decks, so you need a minimum of 2. A lot of decks, if you do enough testing, you can really out the weakest 2 extra deck monsters and just fit these in for them. For me, here's a really good example. So for my current deck, I'm running Elf Note Fiendsmith. Right now, my extra deck is really tight with the cards that I do like playing. However, I've analyzed every single card that I've used and how many times I've used it in the last 15 or so matches, and there's 2 cards that are kind of easy cuts right now, especially for how good the Fallen of the Virtuous package is. So with what I'm thinking, I'm gonna take out Link Spider and Necroquip. Everything else is pretty essential and I've used it pretty much in every single match that I've played, but these 2 cards right here are 2 cards that I've summoned very little. Link Spider, in those 15 matches, I've probably summoned twice, and that's because I used my normal summon on something and I got nibbed. Outside of that, most of the time if I get nibbed, I just tribute summon and continue to play. So I'm thinking this is gonna be an easy cut. And then I've summoned Necroquipped 1 time, and the one time I really didn't even need to. I just got stopped with my Fiendsmith play, so I just wanted to put the bodies of Lacrima and Requiem to the grave, so I fusion off into this, and then I just continue to play Elf Notes. So I figured based off of those 2 things, these are 2 easy cuts which allow me to add 1 Albion and 1 Ecclesia. And because the Ecclesia sends back your Albion and one of their monsters to the deck, that allows your 3rd Fallen of the Virtuous to be live. So minimum you need 2. I know people that like playing 2 Albion and 1 Ecclesia, which is really good as well, but my extra deck is too tight and a lot of people's are. So find the 2 spaces. These are mine in my current deck, and figure out how to fit them in because this package is just so good. And then what I'm cutting from my deck, I really like the list overall, but I think from the non-engine, I'm thinking Imperm has been probably my weakest card. The other cards, such as like Bell, Ash, if I'm not using them for their like intended effects, I'm at least sending them with the spell or the trap to have some kind of play for the Elf Note side. So Imperm not allowing that to happen and then not really utilizing Imperm to its full like potential has just made me think that the Fallen of the Virtuous would just be overall better in this deck. So cutting the 3 Imperm is kind of easy based off of what I've been playing. And then I found the 2 extra deck spots. So it's perfect timing and I have the perfect amount of space to be able to fit this package into my deck. Also a side note, I'm pretty sure when the new support comes back, Necroquip and Link Spider are both going to be coming back into the deck. But I also think there's going to be different space that will allow me to keep this package in the deck. Okay, so this was a real hand during testing. I started off with Medius the Pure and 4 non-engine, 1 being the Fallen of the Virtuous. So in this setting, I went Medius the Pure, a normal summon activated effect. They imperm me. I go the Fallen of the Virtuous, sending Albion, targeting Medius to pop. I pop Medius, their imperm miss targeting, Medius effect goes through, Power Patron comes out. Now, because Medius has a graveyard effect, I'm gonna activate Medius effect to special. They don't do anything, Medius comes out, I put a monster back. Now I have a level 4 and a level 1. I'm gonna synchro into a 5, which is Armades. Medius gets banished, Power Patron's effect allows me to search, so I search for Tania. So in this situation, if you know Elf Notes, I'm threatening full Fiendsmith combo, and now I have full Elf Note. So with this being said, I'm going to link off, and I'm gonna go into Requiem. I'm gonna go Requiem effect, and this is what I did during the game. He had no more interactions other than the Imperm, and if I didn't have Fallen of the Virtuous, it would have completely stopped everything. Lacrima's effect, send Engraver. Engraver's effect, a special by sending this back. Then link into Sequence. Sequence effect will send these 2 back to Fusion Lacrima. Lacrima will special out Engraver. Then I go into DDD. And right here, I'm just like, well, thank God I had that card. And then I special summon Tania. Tania's effect, I place, I activate Welcome Home, sending Tania to get Lucina. Lucina will get me Fortuna. I will special Fortuna. Fortuna places the trap. Now here, I go trap effect, sending Sequence to special Patron. I synchro into 7, activate effect to get out Tania. And then I go end phase Albion's effect to place another Fallen of the Virtuous. In the end phase, this is my board. I have a Lucina bounce. I have a random banish from hand, 2 special summon negates, an on-field Omni negate. I have protection, and then I have the Fallen of the Virtuous, which is going to be a pop. And because I've already used the Albion, I'm also going to have a bounce. So overall, if I didn't play the Fallen of the Virtuous package and they hit me with the Imperm on the Medius the Pure, I would have just literally had a Medius the Pure on board with 4 non-engine in hand, and I would have just passed. Wouldn't have set up any kind of board. I wouldn't have made any kind of play. But because I had this one card, it allowed me to actually play the game, which is really nice. The funny thing is, this was one of the first hands too that I had, and I was kind of just like, oh, I hope Medius the Pure goes through. And sure enough, they imperm me, and I was like, well, I can force it through now because the Fallen of the Virtuous is gonna make that imperm miss its target. But yeah, overall, I think this card's utility is crazy because it allowed me to play defensively, and then it also gave me a card offensively that they have to worry about. So just to recap, the reason I think the Fallen of the Virtuous is one of the best staples in Yu-Gi-Oh right now comes down to 3 things. It gives the deck extra interactions, the cost generated advantage, and it can even be used to dodge targeting effects. Even though it takes up at least 2 extra deck spots, I think a lot of decks should at least test it out and try to fit this in. Let me know what you guys think about this staple because I think it is incredible. Let me know in the comments what decks you guys are playing and how you guys are trying to fit this into your deck because I think you should. If you guys have any comments or thoughts on why you think this card is good or even bad, comment down below. Let's have an open discussion. I love just having conversations about Yu-Gi-Oh, so let me know what you guys think. I think it is one of the best staples. I'm not always right, but I think I'm right in this situation. Go try it out, enjoy this little package, and enjoy what it does to your deck. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.